Today I'm making a fancy Slimline pen, and I'm going to use this mahogany blank. Let's get these blanks ready for the tubes to be inserted. This blank has some nice figure down this side, and it looks like there's a little more on this end, so I'm going to try and take the pen out of this side. I'll just leave a little extra on each end. All right, those came out perfect. I've got these mahogany blanks ready to go in my Penn State drill press vise. Makes it nice and easy to get a good center. Now I'm going to scuff these tubes up and use some Star Bond epoxy to glue them into these blanks. Next step is I'm going to turn these blanks into the shape of the pen. Alright, I've got these finished with 4 or 5 coats of this Star Bond Super Glue Speed Series, followed by 4 or 5 coats of this Star Bond Flexible Medium Thick. It is dry. I barely even have to wait between coats. I love that about this product. Now I'm just going to hit it quickly with some 600 and then 800 sandpaper before I do the real sanding. Now I'm going to hit these with the micro mesh pads and work up from 1500 to 12,000. I call this step damp sanding because I get these slightly damp, but they're not really wet per se. I don't soak the piece of wood and it's not dry sanding, so damp sanding. I don't usually talk very much during this stage, but just to test this out, what I'm doing here, if you can't tell, is I pretty much use the same system. One of 2 different ways. Either I start with the lowish mesh and I start with counting to like 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, back and forth with each mesh pad. So I try and get about the same amount of movements on each pad, and I'm pulling the pad towards me just enough so I can start to feel a little warmth coming off of the workpiece and into my fingers. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I want to be careful not to pull too hard or overheat it, or you can, actually it's overheating the mesh pad, and you can melt these just a little, and you'll find yourself having to sand that off of the workpiece if you're not careful. There you go, and by that last step, these are already glowing basically. I've got just a little bit of sanding dust built into some of the cracks. I like to not put so much super glue finish on these that they feel plasticky. If I leave just enough, a little bit, sometimes you can feel a little bit of the rough wood texture through that, and I'm okay with that. Now, I don't want it to feel like I did a poor job sanding, but I don't mind feeling a little bit of the wood because it feels a little more natural that way to me. I'm going to hit it with some Ultra Pro finishing polish, similar to the sanding. I'm going to put this on and pull it towards me until I can feel a good heat, and then when I put it on at first I can feel friction, and I'm going to polish until all of a sudden this slides back and forth smooth as glass. There we go. Those shine on those can be seen all the way across town. After all that work, the ends of the tubes, even though I squared them nicely in the beginning, or just have a little bit of super glue. They're imperfect, so I find that I get the best finish if I take a piece of 320 or 400 sandpaper and I just lightly sand the ends. I could put this with my jig on the belt sander, but I like to do it by touch. So what I do is I rotate the barrel, rotate the blank in my hand one way while I sand the other way. Just lightly, and then I can see a nice even finish on the bottom, and I know these are gonna meet up nice and flat when I assemble the pen. Alright, let's assemble this pen. I picked this piece with this kind of cool part of the wood to be the bottom, so I'm just going to put the tip in the end, put it in the little hole there in the end of the kit. Just going to guide this all the way through. Boom. Look at that. Perfect fit. This is going to be the top, so I'm going to get the pen clip and the little cap. Put those in. There we go. Get the transmission started. Put the tip in. Just gonna slide this back a little bit and get it locked. Yeah. And now we can put the nice divider over it. There's a name for that piece. I can't think of it right now though. There we go. I'm going to take off that tip protector stuff. I know it looks nice when it's new, but sometimes it keeps it from going all the way through. There we go. All the way in, all the way out. On the top. There we go. That's a pretty pen.